So we're 6 months into 2024 and already loads of fragrances have been released. So in this video, I'm going to be diving into a few of them and giving you guys my brutal, honest opinions. Yes, people, what is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. I'm TJ, if you didn't already know, and over here on my channel, I discuss all things fragrance and the fragrance industry. So if there's any content you want me to make, anything at all, let me know down in the comments. So if you haven't checked out my latest YouTube video, make sure to watch that. That was on TikTok hype fragrances and if I think they're worth it or not. It was an interesting one. But anyway, let's move on to today's video. Like I said at the beginning, there's been loads of fragrance releases in 2024, and I've been lucky enough to get most of these fragrances. Some of them I've copped myself, and some of them, thankfully, have been sent to me. And at one point or another, I was super excited to get these fragrances. So let's see if my opinion on them has changed, and let's see if you guys share the same opinion as me. And I don't want this video to be too long, so I've only picked 7 fragrances to include in this list. But if you enjoy this kind of content and want to see a part 2, smash the like button and let me know down below. So this first fragrance, we might as well get out of the way early doors, because in my opinion anyway, this is probably the worst fragrance release of 2024 for me. Like, this might offend a few people if you like this fragrance or you like the fragrance house, but I'm just keeping it real, man. This one I do not like at all. It is from the niche fragrance house BDK Parfums, and this fragrance here is called 312 Saint Honoré. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this fragrance was made in conjunction with the opening of their first boutique in Paris a couple of months ago. So the name of the fragrance represents the street or the location that the boutique is on. So 312 Saint Honoré. And listen, my mum always told me when I was a little bit younger, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say it at all. And I think that slogan is kind of valid for life, but not when it comes to fragrance reviews, man. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you guys. And I just think there's not one thing about the fragrance that I like or enjoy at any time of the fragrance's duration, like on my skin. I just despise this one, and the only thing I like about it is the bottle. And a funny story, I was actually sent this one by BDK themselves a couple months ago before it was even released, and I'd done a video on it, like testing it, unboxing it, giving my first impressions. And then as I was editing that the very next day, like, I tried it again on my skin and I was like, nah, man, this one is not great. Everything I said in that video is not the truth. So I just ended up deleting the review and not even posting it at all. So you would have seen, like, I haven't even used hardly anything in the juice. You haven't seen a review on it on my TikTok or Instagram channel. And then what's even funnier is a PR company that has my address, they sent me out a fragrance out of the blue. I didn't even know what it was, and it was actually BDK 312 Saint Honoré. So as soon as that come through, I was like, oh man, like, what the hell? And I know that sounds mad ungrateful, but what's the point of getting a fragrance you don't like? I wouldn't have bought this one anyway, and I wouldn't recommend it to you guys. So as soon as that come through, I didn't even open it, I just gave it away. And let me just show you guys the atomizer, man, because the atomizer is like probably the best thing about the fragrance. But for me, just spraying it, I think that was a mistake spraying it in the room, but it's just, everything's a little bit too much. It's a little bit too musky. It's a little bit too spicy. It's a little bit too dry. It's a little bit too earthy. Like, the balance is just way off. Like, I like a dirty, spicy, musky scent, but not when it's all together and it's turned up to the max. So for that reason, man, I don't like this at all. And I think that's enough on that. I don't want to dig them out too much, even though I probably grilled them to pieces, but that's not really my style. I don't really like this fragrance. There is probably people out there that really enjoy this one. So if you do, let me know in the comments what you love the most about this. And now on to Kilian Paris, which is one of my favorite fragrance houses, as you guys already know. They got some bangers in there. But this fragrance that I've got here, they released a couple months ago, and it just seemed to not get any traction at all in the fragrance industry. And you know what's funny about it? The fragrance is called Born to be Unforgettable, and I think it is literally the opposite of that. And if you didn't already know with this one, this was actually a re-release. They actually had this fragrance before, and it was in a different bottle. It had like the kind of circular, kind of House of Oud like fragrance bottle. And the fragrance, if you don't already know, is essentially a Coca-Cola fragrance. So there's bangers out there on the market like Tonka-Cola by Mancera, which we all know and love. And that's kind of what I was expecting. But I was expecting something a little bit better from this, and I can say that I didn't live up to it. And if Kilian Paris have just aimed to make this an out-and-out Coca-Cola fragrance, then they've nailed it. For me, it's a 10 out of 10 in that department, because as soon as you put your nose to it, you pick up that fizzy Coca-Cola and you pick up a heavy dose of lime. But I think why myself and a lot of you guys probably like Tonka-Cola a lot is because, yes, it has the Coca-Cola vibe or Dr. Pepper kind of vibe, but you got some cherry in there. You got a little bit of spiciness and you got a little bit of depth. But when it comes to Born to be Unforgettable, you spray this on your skin, and what you smell in the first 30 seconds with the Coca-Cola and the heavy dose of lime, that's what you get throughout the entire scent. And I don't think this fragrance smells bad at all. And I think if you're out there looking for a fragrance that smells like Coca-Cola and it has that zestiness to the fragrance and it is kind of fresh and a little bit sweet as well, then I think this would be a good fragrance for the summer. And as well, on price, loads of people will hear Kilian and think this is going to be in the £200 to £300 range, like Angel Share, like Smoking Hot. this is not at all. This is 50 ml and it cost £110. And even when I bought this on the website when it first released, I thought there was like a glitch on the website. So I tried to buy it as soon as possible. But yeah, man, I think the price is justified. In terms of performance, you're going to get 6-ish, maybe 7 hours. And I do have to say the projection on this all throughout the scent is really good. So if you tried Born to be Unforgettable, let me know what you think. And now let me cheer myself up a little bit with this fragrance right here. This is from Room 1015, which is just a fragrance house I discovered a couple months ago. This fragrance is called Wave Child. I like the bottle, I like the name, I like everything about this one. And I've mentioned this a couple times, but I think loads of people have been a little bit sick of your French Rivieras by Mancera, your Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intenses, as well as your God of Fires by Stefan Humbert Lucas. And I think Wave Child, man, for some reason, I just think this is going to be like the new kid on the block, the new fresh fragrance that loads of people try and get their nose on and even secure, because I haven't really had much experience with the notes in this fragrance, because if I haven't already mentioned, this is a watermelon fragrance and I've never tried anything really watermelon apart from like a shower gel, like a Radox shower gel, but this one is really nice. And in this fragrance, like I mentioned, you pick up a juicy kind of heavy watermelon note that is super realistic and also reminds me of the little watermelon sugary sweets as well. The fragrance is obviously fresh and aquatic if it's for summer. And I did have a look at the notes and I've seen loads of people say, do I get coconut in the fragrance? And me, myself, normally that's a note that I can pick up very easily, but I don't get it at all. When I even saw there's cacao in the fragrance and I don't get that. What I do pick up in the dry down is almost slightly dry, slightly woodsy, and maybe like a little bit green. Like I pick up some sort of moss or something like that. And like I'm a fan of the whole balance of the fragrance. Everything I pick up is pleasant and they all kind of intertwine and work well. In the UK, you can't find this fragrance everywhere. So Room 1015 is exclusive to Javoy in Mayfair. And I picked this one up last Saturday. I then dropped an initial kind of unboxing and first impression on the Monday. And then I went back to Javoy on the following Saturday and I was with my boy and I said, yo, can we smell Wave Child? And they was like, oh, sorry, it's out of stock. And I was like, what's going on? Like, how? I was just here last week. They're like, I don't know, but loads of people just came in this week and just asked straight away, can I pick up a bottle of Wave Child? So that kind of told me like the impact that I have when I speak about a fragrance. So I was like, damn, like I have to be super careful and like really think about what I'm saying in the reviews that I'm giving out, because I don't want people to go out and spend money needlessly. But with this one, I don't think you are. I think anyone who tries this, if you like that kind of citrus, fresh and slightly fruity fragrance DNA, then I really think you'll enjoy this. But yeah, when it comes to me and summer fragrances, performance is what I really look for. So if it smells nice and doesn't last long, I don't want it. And this fragrance, Wave Child, I'm getting 7 hours performance. Loads of people, when I drop the review, they say they get like 12, 13 hours, which is crazy. And I wish I did, but I don't. And in terms of projection, for the first few hours, it is lovely. Then it does dry down to like closer to the skin scent. But yeah, man, at the same time, I want to gas this fragrance up and tell you guys it's the best summer fragrance, but I kind of want to gatekeep it as well. Like, it's a weird position I'm in. Next up, we have one from the house of Maison Crivelli, and they have been super busy over the last 12 months. I think early last year, so March 2023, they released Oud Maracuja, which just blew up all over the net. After that, I think it was in June, they released the Harrods exclusive Oud fragrance in a green bottle, which was called Oud Stallion. And then earlier this year, they released Tuberose Australia, I think in March. And then literally 2 weeks later, they released Cure Infra Rouge, which is this one. And yeah, man, the bottle is nearly done. I'm definitely going to re-up. Now, this fragrance comes as a little bit of a shock to everyone because they didn't do any marketing with this fragrance. They literally just announced the day before that this fragrance is going to be exclusive to Selfridges. And luckily, I was actually going out that day, so I made a little change to my route and went to Selfridges to try the fragrance, and I enjoyed it. I didn't buy it on the spot, but I tried it on skin, went away, came back and tried it again. Then I ended up buying it. But there's a lot of similarities in this fragrance to a special fragrance that loads of people consider as one of the best of all time, which is Ombre Nomad, but it is a little different as well. And I do have to say, Ombre Nomad and Cure Infra Rouge do not smell the same at all. And I think even if you try and look up the notes of this fragrance, I don't think it's published anywhere online yet. But luckily I had the box and it said it on there. So in this fragrance is Oud, Raspberry and Leather, which is also in Ombre Nomad. But that fragrance leans super smoky. Ombre Nomad is like a beast mode winter smokier fragrance, whereas Cure Infra Rouge is that more vibrant. It's like the younger brother. It's a little bit more lighter and one that I would kind of wear, I would say, all year round, man. Some of this will work perfectly, whereas Ombre Nomad is more for the winter. But I think these are both valid to have in your collection. And of course, when it comes to performance, it's a no-brainer. It's a Maison Crivelli fragrance, but not only that, it is one of the X straights. So any of the colored bottles, this one, the blue in Oud Maracuja and the green in Oud Stallion, they're all part of the X straight collection compared to the ones just in the see-through bottle with a white label. They're all Eau de Parfums, I believe, or they could be EDT, some of them, because they're so light. But in terms of performance, I'm getting like 10 to 11 hours super easily, and projection is great throughout the scent. So yeah, man, Maison Crivelli just smash it when it comes to performance. And I'll say you probably have not seen many reviews on this fragrance, and it is only because, and this is the only reason, because it's a Selfridges exclusive. If they put this in Harrods, H Beauty, Liberty, Javoy, loads of people will be dropping reviews on this, and I'm telling you, when it becomes kind of widely available, you're going to see this one everywhere. And by the way, a quick mention to Tuberose Australe, which is one of the strongest floral fragrances I've ever put my nose on. I'm telling you, if I open the cap and put in there my nostrils, it latches onto them nose hairs. It is brazy. So yeah, man, shout out to that one. And now we have a fragrance that I was super gassed for. And when I say super gassed, like super gassed, this is crazy. This one, I looked at the notes on this. This one had cherry, it had tobacco in there, it had some spices in there. It is from the house of Initio, and it is actually called Narcotic Delight. And when it comes to this fragrance, there's just two sides to it. There's smell and there's performance, and one is great and the other is shocking. And let's move on to the bad, because I was super shocked with this fragrance, because I know Initio don't have a kind of good rap for great longevity in their fragrances or great projection. Even when it comes to ones like Side Effect, they're not that great when it comes to that side of things. But the only one that really does the job, in my opinion, is Oud for Greatness. That one projects like a beast. But when I got this fragrance, man, this one, I got like 4 hours on skin, if that. After like 3 hours, I really had to like sniff my hand, and there was hardly anything there. And for me, that's just appalling. And when it comes to the smell, I really enjoy it, man. It's a proper kind of mature, sophisticated fragrance. Reminds you of being like in a bar and stuff like that. So I was just like so gassed for this, and also the price was more expensive than all of the other fragrances apart from Oud for Greatness. It was a little bit higher. I think it was like $265 or $270. So I was like, okay, this stuff has to be really good if they're putting the price up. But the longevity, man, it's just so sad. I think even if my skin had a nose, it would not be able to smell this after like 2 hours. It's that mad. As well, I see a lot of people saying it's a great date night fragrance, and I do think it would have probably been one of the best on the market for a date night fragrance if the performance was good, but it's not. So I would probably still say get Side Effect, or there's loads of other fragrances out there that you can get for date night. Like Angel Share Above Me, that one's superior to this one in terms of boozy, a little bit sweet as well. But yeah, man, like I do think it's a great smelling fragrance, but do I kind of recommend you guys to go out and spend your money on it? Definitely not. But again, if you guys experience something different with the fragrance, let me know, because it might just be me. And I might be going around saying, "Hey guys, this fragrance doesn't perform well, blah, blah, blah." When for you guys are getting beast mode performance. So if you are, let me know. And now the fragrance I've got here, I think was released last out of all of the fragrances on this list. And it is from Kayali, and it's called Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. And look at the bottle, man. I'll twist it. The bottle is so dope. And you guys probably would have seen Kayali or Mona going on tour and kind of spreading the word about this fragrance. And I was actually invited to the launch of it in London, which was the first one, I think. And yeah, man, I'm a bit gutted that I didn't go, but on the day, man, I wasn't feeling up to it. But the main question is, was Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar a fragrance that Kayali needed to release? And I don't think so personally, because obviously they have Vanilla 28, which is just the beast when it comes to vanilla fragrances, and every single person loves that fragrance. So did they need this? No, in a way. If you're looking for the best vanilla fragrance, I'm going to recommend Vanilla 28 every time. But at the same time, this fragrance is a little bit more youthful, a little bit more playful. It's a little bit younger at the same time, and it's like a mischievous fragrance that you kind of enjoy smelling on someone else. But yeah, man, I don't think this one's better than 28. And they always put the notes on the back of the fragrance, which is super helpful. And in this, you've got candied pear, sweet violet, bubblegum, white caramel, rock sugar, and vanilla cream. And I think they even said you can layer this one with Vanilla 28. And I tried it, and it does smell nice, but I prefer Vanilla 28 on its own. And these two together do lean a little bit sweet. But if you want a banging kind of layering combination, try Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar on top of Eden Sparkling Lychee, because that one works amazing. But it's super hard to get on board with this fragrance, because it's like Kilian trying to release another boozy fragrance that has the apple pie kind of feel to it with the cinnamon in there, because that was the first love, and it's going to really be hard to be like, yeah, this one's as good as that. You're always going to compare it to that, but still, I think the release is valid. And now, last but not least, we have one from the House of Oud, and this one here is called Gambling. This one is up there with probably the best bottles in my collection, man. All the detail, the design, everything is fantastic. And this fragrance was released, I think, in February or March, and it was released as a collection of 3 fragrances. So one of them was called Bon Bon Pop, and the other one, I don't even know. What was the other one called? I'm not even sure, but I'll pop it on the screen. And I think this one out of those three was the most unique. What the hell was the other one called? So I went to the launch of these and they just said at the end, which fragrance do you want? So you could take a goodie bag with it. And this one was the one that stood out to me. One, because of the design, and two, the notes in the fragrance were super unique. It had boozy notes in there. I think that's what sold it to me. It had whiskey in the top. It had like some florals in there. It was woodsy as well. And yeah, man, it was a little bit green, herbal, aromatic. And I was like, yeah, this smells super different. And I'll just try it, man. I haven't got anything like it in my collection, so let's see how it goes. However, it doesn't always turn out how you want it to, and I think I made the wrong choice. I should have played it a little bit more safe and gone for the gourmand like Bon Bon Pop, because this fragrance, since getting it 3-4 months ago, it is probably one of the hardest fragrances to wear. Like for me personally, I know loads of people just put on a fragrance and be like, yeah, that's what I'm wearing today, but I need to really feel the occasion and the outfit and everything. And with this, no picture really comes into my mind anymore. I'm just like, I don't know. So for that reason, this fragrance is just there picking up dust, and I'm sure I'll find one time or another to rock it and enjoy it, but for now I'm not. And we all love a unique fragrance, but there's unique and then there's unique. Like it can go a little bit too far, but I do have to say, man, in terms of performance, again, I'm like pleasantly surprised with this, because I've tried loads of House of Oud fragrances and performance is not fantastic on them either. They're not as bad as the Initios, but they're just not like great, like, or amazing. So with this one, 8 to 9 hours, simple, like calm, and projection wise is decent as well. Like for the first, I'll say 3-4 hours, I'm smelling it on clothes. I'm still smelling this one a day later when I've worn it. But yeah, man, I just think like there's unique and then there's a little bit too unique where it's too hard to wear for me. And by the time this video drops, I think there's another new release coming, because at the launch a couple months ago, we got to smell one that was coming out. I forgot the name of it, but all I know is the top notes were champagne and freesia, and it was meant to remind you of like the first sip of champagne and then the lipstick on the glass after, which was a cool concept and I enjoyed the smell. So as soon as it's in store, I'll let you guys know on my socials. But yeah, man, that is the end of the video. If you want to see a part 2, like I said at the beginning, smash the like button and let me know which fragrances you want me to include on that next list. But thank you guys for watching. If you don't follow me on TikTok or Instagram already, then what are you doing? And if you watch this video and you're not subscribed, man, I cannot forgive you. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, love for the love, my people.